consensus. That may also mean that these compromises are sometimes then they can also lead to weak compromises, or that the harmonization measure actually that is triggered then at the conference is pretty limited.
Yeah. For me, I see CEPT as a very interesting group of countries. So you have countries that are part of the RCC.
Yes.
And you have countries that are in the Commonwealth Organization of Telecommunication, such as the UK. And you have also countries that are part of the Frankfurt Telecommunication Organization, which is France. So I'm confused how those different interests interact. How it's easy just to reach one opinion eventually.
Yeah, but the process in Europe is not only because of the differences between or amongst these administrations a little bit different. We have a regulatory environment in Europe where you can say, contrary to many other jurisdictions on this planet, the role of the administration has changed in the last 25 years. We have this concept I would describe as co-regulation. And the concept is that the users or operators, industry, and the administration, they all work together. And find a regulatory solution for when it's needed, for example, for new applications or for increased demand and so on. And so many of the processes in Europe actually begin at ETSI, at the European Telecommunication Standardization Institute, where again all the administrations are also member of ETSI, in Europe, but it quite often starts there that a new frequency utilization proposal is made, and there is an MOU between the ECC and ETSI, So ETSI is coordinating proposals, is writing proposals to make a common proposal from all the ETSI membership to the CPT, and it's called the ETSI System Reference Document, and the CEPT is then obliged to work on it. And you see, sometimes a proposal is made at a very early stage. First comes a proposal, but it's only the proposal, it's not a decision. Then there are investigations, for example, spectrum management, compatibility, and so on. People will discuss alternative frequency bands. At the end, the frequency management will identify a frequency range, and all the technical studies will have been done to ensure compatibility with the other users in the spectrum, Okay?
Yes.
So you have then a regulatory solution. We make then a decision or recommendation, for this, and then it goes back to the national level, because the real implementation of the solution takes place on the national level, So the real licensing, so the individual licenses and the license exempt rulings, this is on the national level. This can only be done by the national administration. Nobody in Brussels or in the CPT can do this. It's a job of the National Regulatory Authority,
Yes.
And so, having explained to you this process quite often, and CPG is then, of course, in this context, then one of the groups in the ECC, which is dealing with the subject on the agenda of the radio conferences,
Yes.
So it's not only the administration; it's all the stakeholders actually who are represented then in the CEPT brief, and there is of course, in Brussels as well as in the whole of Europe, but maybe in particular in some states, there's a strong role of industry. Yeah? You have some of the countries who have lots of manufacturers of radio products. Yeah?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, do not expect that in Sweden the Swedish administration is immune against the interest of Ericsson, for example. Yeah,
of course.
Do not expect that Ofcom UK is not listening if Vodafone comes to them with something. Yeah,
of course.
Or if the car manufacturers for some radio application comes to the German regulator or so. Yeah, and so on. Yeah, or the satellite manufacturers in France come to the French administration or so. Yeah. So they have many interests to cover also from small, medium, and large manufacturers and operators. Yeah, and they are all reflected actually in these CPT common positions. Yeah.
Yeah. Mr.
Yeah.
Thomas, yes, go ahead, please.
Yeah. So. Have you ever heard before about this ECC MOU and approach, how it's done? There is a brochure that explains a little bit the ECC roles in the whole process, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Maybe your next question, I just make my notes here, and then after the meeting I can send you an email with some good links, yeah?
Yes,
which
please.
Maybe are in your interest. Yeah.
Please, just for a non-European citizen, it's very complicated for me. So I have this ECC, ERC, ECO. It's very complicated, and I'm trying to understand. So I would appreciate if you can send me something on that.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Just let's discuss specifically one important issue at the last WRC 2012, which is the issue of the 700 mega band, which was proposed by the African and Arab countries. So just can you describe to me the development of the discussion over the issue from the perspective of the European countries?
Yeah, we have a 700 megahertz mandate now, and in Europe, yeah.
Yeah.
And a mandate from the European Commission to dissect, and under this mandate there will be a response back. And this is actually then setting this is the work in the CPT, yeah.
Yeah.
So the European Commission has given a mandate, yeah, and the SEP report that is in the process of, I think we are more or less at the end of the mandate. That actually will then come up with the band plan for the 700s, yeah.
Yeah.
And that will be the position then in Europe. So considering the roles, you can say the EC actually, when the mandate was discussed, yeah, the underlying consensus was that something has to happen with this frequency band. We want to give more. Frequencies there to mobile and fixed communication networks, yeah.
Yeah.
And take away from broadcast, yeah. And how exactly we do that? That is actually done with the response, which will then the response at the end will be provided to the European Commission from the SET after all the studies in the CPT, and will have a band plan, yeah, and all these things. And that is of course then also the position of the Europeans at the radio conference 2015, yeah.
Yeah.
But the major decision was done at the moment when the mandate was created, yeah?
Yeah.
Because then you already say, we want to do it, yeah?
Yeah.
and everything else is then just, let's say, working it out in details with all the technical documentation in the background that everything is okay.
Yeah. All right, but just I want to know your opinion about the development of the European position during the